Now that we have covered the rubric as it applies to multimodal essays, I would like to share with you a unique and easy approach to revising your diction for audience awareness. This is an excerpt from Richard Lanham's video, Revising Prose. Make sure you have the printed out handout entitled The Paramedic Method from the handout page before proceeding with the video.
First, circle the prepositions. Next, circle the is forms. Then ask yourself, who's kicking who? Where is the real action in the sentence? Who's doing what to whom? When you found the kicking action, put it in a simple active verb. And finally, get the sentence going fast. No long wind-ups. Here are some examples from a recent sociobiology text. There is a good deal of circumstantial evidence in support of this scheme. First, the prepositions. Notice how the rhythm of the sentence immediately gets monotonous? I'll exaggerate the effect a little with my voice to underline it for you. There is a good deal of circumstantial evidence in support of this scheme. It sounds like a list. See what I mean? The sentence comes to look and sound like a laundry list. Now for step 2 of the paramedic method. Find the is. Notice what a lame beginning the there is formula provides for a sentence. The perfect opening formula for a laundry list. Guaranteed monotony. There is a good deal of circumstantial evidence in support of this scheme. Da-da-dum, da-da-dum, and so on to slumberland. Once you choose the there is plus prepositional phrases formula, you are locked into this guaranteed monotony. How do you get out? Well, ask, rule 3 of the paramedic method, who's kicking who? Obviously, the kicker is circumstantial evidence. Let's begin there. What is this evidence doing? Where is the action? Buried way down there in support, of course. We'll disinter it. All right, we've now followed rule 4 of the paramedic method. And who's the kickee, the direct object on the receiving end? This scheme. Now, how about the long wind-up opening? There is a good deal of. No need for there is any longer, since we have a real live verb in supports. A good deal of is a long-winded way to say much. Now, the completed revision reads, much circumstantial evidence supports this scheme. We have now complied with Rule 5 of the paramedic method. Start fast. The official style loves the mindless introduction. Here are some more slow wind-ups from the author of our specimen sentence. The mindless introduction does not really say anything. It amounts to a high-class version of, a fill-in grunt while you figure out what to say. Meanwhile, your sentence, that virgin rocket, has fired, lifted tentatively a few inches off the ground, fizzled, and fallen back dead on the launching pad. The official style loves verbal formulas, and we can see a good example of it here. The blah blah is that opening.
The last thing we need to cover in this lesson, beyond Richard Lanham's paramedic method, is how to use the rhetorical triangle when composing and revising our biographies. As a review, the rhetorical triangle is made up of 3 points: ethos, pathos, and logos. Ethos, in general, is the ethical part of the triangle. This rhetorical element is concerned with credibility and trust. It might be hard to see how ethics could play a role in your biography, but if your story has to do with your reputation or character, then you should be concerned with ethos. Furthermore, this rhetorical item has its etymological roots in the idea of gathering places. So if you are by chance choosing to compose your biography on a place that you have been, then maintaining credibility and trust with your audience can be established by fully fleshing out the ties you have with your community. The second point on the rhetorical triangle is pathos, or emotions. This element is also inextricably tied to imagination. Ask yourself this question: are you trying to elicit a specific emotion from your audience, or are you trying to establish a bond with your audience over a specific emotion? If you fall into one of these two categories, which we all should in this type of writing exercise, then make sure you are attempting to appeal to your audience on an emotional level. Finally, we should also make sure to address logos, or the logical side of the triangle. In addition to conveying our stories to the audience in a logical manner, we should attempt to be consistent. Not only does this fulfill the logo's need, but it also helps to build trust with our audience and avoid undermining our ethos. So, in conclusion, remember to keep the rubric in mind as you are composing and revising your biography. If you have any questions as to how both the voiceover narration and visual elements of your biography will be evaluated, then please read back over the multimodal rubric located on the course website or ask your instructor. Secondly, if your diction is feeling too stiff and official for your biography, then revive it with the paramedic method. See how much lard you can factor out of your writing, and thereby improving the connection you are establishing with the audience. Finally, remember to keep revising. The last thing I want to remind you about is your assignments for this lesson. First, you are tasked with reading your biography voiceover text aloud at least 5 times and making any necessary revisions. Then, go and peer review the biography of one of your classmates using the handout entitled Biography Peer Review. This is found on the Lesson 2 website. It will allow you to gain some insight as to whether or not you have fully addressed the rhetorical triangle. Finally, select the 5 longest sentences from your biography. Perform the paramedic method on them using the handout, and then post them as a journal entry. This concludes Lesson 2 of Directing Your Digital Story. If you have any questions about this lesson, please either talk to your instructor or email me at hettelj@uga.edu. That is HETTELJ@uga.edu. Thank you again for your time and attention.